Hello everyone! Today, we're going to demystify a fundamental concept you'll encounter in any chemistry lab that uses chromatography. We are talking about the solvent front. It might sound technical, but it's actually a very simple and crucial idea. So, what is it, and why does it matter so much? Let's break it down. Imagine you are running a paper chromatography experiment. You have a strip of paper, which is your stationary phase, and you've placed a spot of ink near the bottom on a starting line. You then dip the bottom edge of this paper into a liquid, the solvent. This solvent is your mobile phase. As the solvent begins to climb up the paper through capillary action, it carries the different colored pigments from the ink spot with it. Now, think of this whole process as a race. The different pigments in the ink are the runners, and they all run at different speeds. But what about the racetrack itself? The solvent is what creates the track as it moves up the paper. The solvent front is simply the finish line. It is the highest point that the wet solvent reaches on the paper at the end of the experiment. It's the leading, visible edge of the moving liquid. You can see it as the line between the wet part of the paper and the dry part. So, why is this finish line so important? Its main purpose is for a critical calculation called the retention factor, or RF value. The RF value is like a unique identification number for a compound under specific conditions. To calculate it, you need two measurements. First, you measure the distance your separated chemical spot traveled from the starting line. Second, you measure the distance the solvent front traveled from that same starting line. The RF value is the distance the spot traveled divided by the distance the solvent front traveled. Without knowing where the solvent front is, you cannot calculate the RF value, which makes it impossible to identify your substances properly. Here's a crucial lab tip: solvents evaporate quickly. As soon as you remove your chromatography paper or plate from the beaker, that wet line, the solvent front, will start to disappear. That's why you must immediately take a pencil and gently draw a line to mark its position. You use a pencil because the graphite is inert and won't dissolve and interfere with your results, unlike pen ink which would run. In summary, the solvent front is the furthest point reached by the mobile phase in your chromatography setup. It serves as an essential reference point for calculating RF values, and you must mark it with a pencil the moment you stop the experiment. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this simple explanation cleared up what a solvent front is and why it's so vital in chromatography. If you found this video helpful and want to see more content that makes science easy to understand, please consider liking this video, subscribing, or even leaving a comment with your questions. Your support truly helps the channel grow and allows us to keep making these videos. See you next time.